A franchise on the brink. Could the Steelers really move on from TJ Watt? The Pittsburgh Steelers have always been known for walking the line between loyalty and bold moves. Their history is rich with decisions that balance sentiment with strategy. And when it comes to franchise-defining players, few teams have shown more faith in their stars than the Steelers, which is exactly what makes the current TJ Watt saga so fascinating and potentially groundbreaking. As we approach the 2025 season, the once whispered conversations around Watt's future are growing louder and harder to ignore. It's no longer a matter of if he could be moved. It's about how far Pittsburgh is willing to go to shape the next phase of its future without him. TJ Watt isn't just any player. He's a former Defensive Player of the Year, a relentless edge presence, and one of the most complete linebackers of this generation. At 30, he stands at a pivotal juncture. He's experienced enough to cement his legacy, but still young enough to wreak havoc for several seasons to come. But behind the scenes, things are tense. Contract negotiations between Watt and the Steelers' front office have hit a frustrating standstill. While both sides remain publicly hopeful, the longer the impasse continues, the more real the possibility becomes that Pittsburgh may test the waters on a trade, not out of desperation, but out of long-term strategy. A hypothetical that's gaining momentum. One trade scenario stirring waves came from Andrew Filipponi, a voice on Pittsburgh's 93.7 The Fan. He pitched a bold exchange. Send Watt to the Philadelphia Eagles in return for second-year pass rusher Nolan Smith and a third-round pick in 2026 via the Jets. At first glance, it looks uneven. Watt is a perennial Pro Bowler, a force offense's fear every snap. Nolan Smith, meanwhile, is a promising but still unproven young player. He's flashed potential but hasn't yet emerged as a dominant force. But peel back the layers and a different picture emerges, one where the long-term calculus may justify the move. Smith, only 24, is entering his third season and already boasts a Super Bowl ring. With 6.5 sacks and 8 tackles for loss last year, he's shown glimpses of what he could become. He has the physical tools, football IQ, and a hunger that teams dream of molding. And he's cheap, still on his rookie contract, which matters in an NFL dominated by cap gymnastics. The bigger picture in Pittsburgh for the Steelers, this wouldn't just be a trade, it'd be a signal. Pittsburgh is already shifting toward a younger defensive core. Rising names like Keanu Benton, Alex Highsmith, and DeMarvin Leal are laying the groundwork for a new era. Trading Watt wouldn't dismantle the defense. It would accelerate a quiet retooling that's been in motion for 2 seasons now. Yes, the short-term pass rush would take a hit. But the cap relief, added draft capital, and potential of Nolan Smith might give the Steelers a more flexible and cohesive defensive unit for the next 5 years. Still, this is TJ Watt we're talking about. He is the identity of modern Steelers football. A leader in the locker room, a workhorse on the field, and the emotional backbone of the team since 2017. Moving on would require a seismic cultural shift and a massive internal commitment to a new direction. Why it makes sense. For both sides, Watt's contract demands are reportedly steep. And with the Steelers still figuring out their quarterback future and reshaping the offense, it may be time to look not just at 2025, but at 2027 and beyond. Nolan Smith and a future pick might not have Watt's resume, but they represent flexibility and long-term planning. That kind of forward-looking move could be what positions Pittsburgh back into serious contention in the years ahead. On the flip side, Philadelphia would be making a classic win-now play, something GM Howie Roseman is famous for. Adding TJ Watt to a defense already stacked with talent, especially alongside Hassan Reddick, could create one of the most terrifying edge duos the league has seen in years. This isn't just about stats. It's about attitude. Watt brings postseason grit, relentless effort, and the kind of championship mindset Philly has been hungry to reclaim after recent playoff frustrations. The Eagles have the offense, the coaching staff, and the infrastructure. A trade for Watt might be the final defensive piece that turns them from contender to favorite. Two franchises, two philosophies. In a way, this deal would represent more than a roster change. It would symbolize two distinct NFL mindsets. Pittsburgh betting on patience, youth, and sustainable team building. Philadelphia pushing chips to the center of the table for a Super Bowl run. That contrast is exactly what makes the speculation so compelling. Of course, pulling off such a blockbuster would require more than just agreement on value. Watt would need to sign off. Smith's camp would have to buy into a new role in Pittsburgh, and the front offices would have to navigate all the hidden complexities. Cap hits, injury protections, post-trade clauses. Still, this is the NFL in 2025. The era of indefinite loyalty is fading fast. Today's champions are those who move with intent, those who know when to go all in and when to pivot. The emotional fallout, make no mistake. If Watt leaves, the emotional toll in Pittsburgh would be real. Watching him in another jersey would be like seeing Polamalu or Harrison playing elsewhere. It's not just football, it's heartbreak. But in Philadelphia, the move would electrify the fan base. It would say, we're not just here to play, we're here to dominate. At the end of the day, this trade remains hypothetical. But like all good hypotheticals, it forces teams and fans to reckon with what they value most. Do the Steelers cling to legacy or invest in tomorrow? Do the Eagles double